Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff's relationship is one of the strangest in SpongeBob history. Sometimes they're together, sometimes they're not, and sometimes she's cheating on him. But after going through every single one of their appearances, I figured out exactly when they got together. So let's figure out when Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff started dating. So I know I said the two met and started dating in the episode Krusty Love, but that's actually not true. They actually met way before in the episode Texas. It was at Sandy's going away party, and while it was a brief thing, the both were at the party, so they did sorta meet. After all, Mrs. Puff did come into his restaurant, so they had to have known each other in some way. There was even a moment where they were pretty close to each other, so I'm gonna count it. Now after this, it didn't just straight go to them dating. There were a few more episodes in between where they somewhat interacted. Like in the episode Life of Crime, Mr. Krabs teaches SpongeBob and Patrick about borrowing. They start going over the stuff he borrowed, and eventually get to Mrs. Puff's hair curlers. Now Mr. Krabs said that these were a gift, but we all know that that's not even close to the truth. It's pretty obvious that he stole them from her, like he stole everything else. But at least he knows she exists, so that's something. Now, apart from that sorta bad interaction, they did have something nice in the episode Band Geeks when they were both part of Squidward's band. Throughout the episode, you see a lot of Mrs. Puff and Mr. Krabs, but if you look closely, it's almost like Mrs. Puff keeps coming closer to Mr. Krabs as the episode goes on. And this sorta suggests that Mrs. Puff may have a thing for Krabs. On the other hand, however, Mr. Krabs has met Mrs. Puff 3 times in Texas, Life of Crime where he stole from her, and Band Geeks. Despite meeting her 3 times, he still doesn't even know her name in the episode Krusty Love.
Scrumptious curvy cutie. Not the sandwich boy, the curvy cutie holding the sandwich.
And this makes one thing pretty clear. He never cared for her at the start. Not only did he steal from her, but he also didn't even know her name. Meanwhile, she always seemed to have a thing for him, getting closer whenever she had a chance. It's probably why she agreed to go on a date with Krabs after that generational fumble. But that's all there is for their pre-relationship, because they're actually gonna go on a real date now. So after that rocky start, things actually start to sail pretty smoothly because of what happens in the episode Krusty Love. In the episode, Mr. Krabs falls for Mrs. Puff, and despite fumbling, he somehow gets a date with her. That night, they go to a fancy restaurant and Mr. Krabs goes all out. He pretty much gets everything for her, but doing so, he ends up blowing 100 grand.
I don't understand, Mr. Krabs. How can you spend $100,000 in one night?
But after he comes home, he finds himself stuck between Mrs. Puff and all of his money. But then he has the bright idea to put SpongeBob in charge of his wallet. The idea is basically whenever Krabs wants to spend money, SpongeBob will make sure that he doesn't. But when they go on the date, Krabs just can't control himself. Every step of the way, he wants to buy her something. I don't blame him though. Like, have you seen Mrs. Puff? Unfortunately for SpongeBob, he's forced to listen to his boss, and every time he does, he gets yelled at. Eventually, he reaches his breaking point, just throwing all the swears he knows at Krabs and leaving. Mrs. Puff then tells him that she's not comfortable accepting all these gifts and would prefer to pay for herself. But the episode ends on a high note when she kisses his cheek, clearly still having feelings for him. Now most of you guys think that this was their one and only date and they sorta drifted apart, but that's not even close to what happened. And that makes sense because their date ended on good terms. There just had to be a follow-up. And luckily, I was right. In the episode SpongeBob's House Party, we get another glimpse at their relationship. The both were at SpongeBob's party, but they weren't really together. Except for a few moments, or should I say frames, where they were specifically dancing together. This was like the closest they've been since their date, so I'm gonna take it as a win. But this pretty much is where they started to become distant. After this episode, there wasn't even a mention of their relationship, almost like it never existed. Hey, that's good news for me. And this became pretty clear in the episode SquidBob Tentacle Pants when Mr. Krabs went to Squidward's recital with Pearl instead of Mrs. Puff. Now, I don't know why anyone would go to Squidward's recital, but they were both there, and they didn't even acknowledge each other. The fact that this happened points out that maybe they stopped dating. After all, we really only seen them on a date and them dancing together at a party. Despite clearly liking each other, things probably didn't work out, and they probably ended on good terms, right? Yeah, no, things did not end on good terms. I was actually shocked to find out, but between seasons 6 and 8, the two just started hating each other. Like in the episode The Krabby Chronicle, Mr. Krabs gets his first newspaper famous by making a story about Mrs. Puff. He purposely made a story that would hurt her image, and then claimed that she wouldn't even feel the effects of it. Well, she did, and something tells me Mr. Krabs did this on purpose. Now, throughout the episode, Mr. Krabs did hurt a lot of people with his fake stories. Later on, he had SpongeBob make the stories and lied to him, saying that the stories weren't hurting people. He was basically printing money because SpongeBob did all the work and he was just taking all the money. But with Mrs. Puff's story, he did something different. He purposefully made a story that would hurt her image and then claimed that she wouldn't feel the effects of it. His primary goal may have been to make money, but he also hurt her business in the process, which to him was probably a win-win situation. But this wasn't the only bad thing Mr. Krabs did. Like, another example is the episode Growth Spout. In the episode, Mr. Krabs needs to get food for Pearl, and the first thing he does is magically end up at Mrs. Puff's house. He then tries to steal her peanuts, and once he realizes they're pets, he runs away. While all this is happening, Mrs. Puff comes out and actually sees Mr. Krabs running away. But interestingly, she doesn't tell the cops that it was him. Like, she clearly saw it was him, and the way she talked about him, she just had to know it was him. But she still didn't snitch. Maybe she still has feelings for him. After all, she was the first one to catch them. And this idea perfectly gets displayed in the episode's Summer Job. In the episode, Mrs. Puff crashes into the Krusty Krab and now owes Mr. Krabs for the damages. Mr. Krabs then hires her as an unpaid employee until she's done enough work to cover for what she broke. And that's pretty much the entire episode. Mr. Krabs shows up, scolds her, she has to listen, and then SpongeBob annoys her. This goes on until she can't take it and just leaves. But there are two things in this episode that are quite interesting. The first is that when she breaks the Krusty Krab, she suggests the idea of going on a date as a way to work things out.
I think we can work something out.
Huh? You mean we should go out on a date?
But Mr. Krabs turns down the idea and instead just hires her. Now, despite all they went through, why would she ask for a date? Well, I think that shows that deep down, she might still have feelings for him. This is not a good day for me. After all, why would she even suggest the idea if she didn't? On the other hand, Krabs is just completely moved on and doesn't care. And this becomes even more clear when she gets sent to jail. After ripping SpongeBob's note and throwing it on the ground, she gets arrested for nearly 4 years. Why would she get such a long sentence for just littering? Now, I would like to point out that she did mention she was on parole, and littering would probably be a big offense in the ocean, so it would make sense that she got a longer sentence. But could this be something Mr. Krabs did? He clearly has changed his mind on her, and probably wouldn't mind going to the police and basically telling on her. But she did say she might get sent for life if he told the cops, so maybe he didn't tell them. Either way, he did basically enslave her, so that's pretty bad. Now, so far, we've seen that Mr. Krabs really couldn't care less about Mrs. Puff and what she gets up to. Well, in the episode Move It or Lose It, that feeling becomes mutual. When SpongeBob goes around collecting signatures to save the Krusty Krab, the first person he goes to is Mrs. Puff. Well, it turns out she couldn't care less to sign it, because she isn't bothered if the Krusty Krab shuts down, or if Krabs goes out of business.
You'd sign this petition. It'll save the Krusty Krab from being bulldozed.
Why would I care about that?
And this isn't even the last time something like this happens. In the season 8 finale Hello Bikini Bottom, Mr. Krabs just steals a whole boat from her. Sure, he was stealing things like hair curlers before or even peanuts, but a whole boat? That's gotta be a pretty big crime. Luckily, this was the last of the bad stuff between them. Or should I say unluckily for me. This is not good. After this, it actually surprisingly gets better. Now, when I say they started being peaceful, it's like barely true. All they do is interact twice without killing each other. The first was in the episode Tutor Sauce. At the end of the episode, Mr. Krabs ends up having to go to Mrs. Puff's class. In the class, Mrs. Puff is oddly happy. I don't think she's happy because of Mr. Krabs or anything. It's probably because of the money she's getting from him. Honestly, I don't know what to make of this. She's just never been this happy, but I could make her this happy. But the reason I really do think this is some form of reconciliation is because of what happened in the episode Married to Money. So basically, in the episode, Mr. Krabs found a female stack of cash named Kashina, and long story short, he put a ring on it. Now we know that Plankton is controlling the robot, but he doesn't. So he wants to marry her. And so they have a big wedding at the Krusty Krab. But do you know who shows up to the wedding? Mrs. Puff. It's really weird that after all they went through, Mr. Krabs still invited her. What's weirder is that she actually showed up in her normal clothes. She really showed up, but to spite him, she didn't wear any formal clothes. So it's not like they're exactly friends or whatever, but at least their relationship is somewhat better. At least they're working towards a brighter future between themselves. Krabs also did figure out it was Plankton at the end of the episode, so he's single now. Maybe he can do something with that. So this entire time, we've just assumed that Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff dated, then briefly drifted apart, and then sorta started hating each other. It's only recently that they're looking to mend their relationship. And this seems to have worked because they went on a date in the episode Whirly Brains. Okay, anyways, but if this was them trying to date again after a long time, why does Mr. Krabs say this?
Mrs. Puff, we've been dating for 16 years now, so...
So let's make one thing very clear. They have not been dating for 16 years. They probably didn't even meet 16 years ago. So why does he say this? Well, to be honest, I don't know. All I know is that the show has not been going on for 16 years, so they haven't been dating for that long. After all, they had this toxic period and Mr. Krabs got married at one point. You really want me to believe they dated through all that? I think he probably meant like 16 days or something. But this still does mean that they've been seeing each other for a bit. And you know what? Despite my feelings, it's actually kind of nice that they're back together. They seem pretty happy and they went on a cheaper date. So it seems like they're actually getting along a lot better. But if everything I said is true, then how do you explain what happened in the episode The Getaway? Mrs. Puff was teaching SpongeBob until he ran away with a prisoner. So to help her, she had Dorsal Dan chase them. As they followed SpongeBob, they began to bond and actually expose their foot fetish. I mean, they started liking each other. Eventually, Dorsal Dan gets arrested and Mrs. Puff follows him and even has a nickname for him, no matter how weird it is. So what's going on here? Wasn't she just dating Mr. Krabs? Well, I think it's pretty clear. She's cheating. Actually, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. They're not that serious, so she's probably eyeing her options or something. But to get into a somewhat relationship with someone and then immediately flirt with someone else, that just doesn't rub me the right way, man. I'm tapping out. Now, if you thought that was confusing, you're right, it was. The next part is not confusing at all. So you know how technically they just got back together, but it's not that serious? Yeah, we're gonna pretend that didn't happen because it turns out they're a lot more serious than they look. In the episode Feral Friends, they're both okay with PDA, which contrasts with their date in the episode Whirly Brains. What really is weird though is that Feral Friends is only 2 episodes after The Getaway, so Mrs. Puff seems to commit pretty darn quickly. And this pretty much continues from here on out to the rest of the show. But there are still some interesting things that are still worth mentioning. Like in the episode Teacher's Pests, Mr. Krabs openly flirts with Mrs. Puff when he's taking her class. She, on the other hand, doesn't reciprocate. Now, I don't think this is anything about them not dating or something. I think it's more about professionalism and her taking her class seriously. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Apart from that, there really isn't anything too bad in the rest of their relationship. Like in the episode Plankton Paranoia, Mr. Krabs does think that she, along with everyone else, is working for Plankton. So he gets worked up about it and decides to bring these rigged Krabby Patties to the chum bucket to stop Plankton. Well, it turns out to be a surprise party and everyone pounces on the patties. But the nice thing to see is when everyone is about to eat his rigged patties, he takes Mrs. Puff's patty before anyone else's. They also continue their various dates in episodes like My Two Krabses, Pookie Cooks, Ride Patrick Ride, and Buff for Puff. There was one small issue though. In the episode Quarantined Krabs, Mr. Krabs throws everyone in the freezer, including Mrs. Puff, and even his own daughter. To be fair, he did throw everyone because he was crazy, so it probably could be forgiven. Other than that, they seem pretty well. As far as we know, their relationship is still going strong with them being together in the season 15 episode Biscuit Ballyhoo. But then when did their relationship really start? That's the point of the video, that's why you've watched to the end. Well, it's pretty simple, right? They kinda got official around Feral Friends. Well, that may not be exactly true. Because before this point, Mrs. Puff was in love with Dorsal Dan, and her and Krabs had recently been on their first date in a long time. Just because they were so vocal about their relationship doesn't really mean anything. I'd personally say that their relationship got going around the episode My Two Krabses, or Kooky Cooks, where they went on consistent dates and actually did stuff together. But to be honest, their relationship was really weird.